Da-da-da-da-da-da. Here we are. Here we are. Welcome, 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 welcome. Wherever you are, welcome. You're here on the Community Sports Show with me, Noel Knowlesy Johnston, coming to you live from the TCSS studio here. And it is all set for round one of the midweek show for Lacrosse WA. And I'm travelling solo tonight. No one in the spare chair there. But hopefully, over the coming weeks, we'll be able to fill that with guests and co-panel hosts and things like that. So a big shout out to all the Lacrosse WA people. If you'd like to fill the spare chair, then please just get in touch and you can be in the studio here live with me to bring everyone the Lacrosse WA midweek show, which essentially is a wrap up of the previous week, as well as a bit of a cheeky look ahead at what's going to happen in the coming round, moves, shout outs, special mentions. If your club's got any, feel free to jump in the comments there. I can see a few of you joining me online already. Welcome to you all. For those who haven't met me, my name's Noel Knowlesy Johnston, and it is my pleasure to be the producer, host, camera operator, statistician, and pretty much everything behind the scenes for the Community Sports Show. If you'd like to get involved, feel free to reach out. Just like we're going to have a special co-commentator for this week's round of action out there at Floreat Park, as Wembley will be taking on Bayswater. We'll get to the State League in just a little while. But as you can see across the bottom there, we couldn't do this without the support of our friends and colleagues and the sponsors we have. And a massive thank you to Glenn and Josh there at ID Athletic, as well as the Ash family, Michael and Lisa of Vision Decor. They are big supporters of ours and we appreciate their support, as well as that of Ashby Farrell, White Arch and Barnard Construction, who have just signed on with us to continue. So big congratulations and welcome to the Community Sports Show family there, Barnard Construction. All right, well, it's been 6 months. There's so much happened. Feel free to jump in the comments. I've got some scores and a little bit of news from around the grades and also from the recent under-18s national championships. However, this is about you. If you've got comments, if your club's got an event, feel free to jump on the comments. We can share it with the global audience of over 5,500 followers. So this is your show, and I look forward to someone joining me in the not too distant future and ahead a big season of lacrosse for WA. All right, well, first of all, before we get anywhere, let's give a congratulations to Wembley Lacrosse Club, who were the hosts of the recent under-18s tournament, and to ALN, our good friends there doing all the national and international stuff for lacrosse, and what a great job they do. So well done to Wembley and well done to the team from ALN on a great under-18s tournament. It was run and won over the weekend a couple of weeks ago now, and we should congratulate both teams from Lacrosse Victoria taking out both the men's and women's title for the National Under-18s tournament. Unfortunately, the ladies for WA came fourth, going down in a tough match against Waikato, 15-9 in the fourth or third place battle there. Unlucky ladies, but we'll come to the members of the all tournament team in just a moment. And for the men, a close one, but again, Victoria running out just a little bit too strong in the end there, winning 10-8 over WA in the grand final. A good performance across both competitions by members from nearly all of the clubs here in WA, so congratulations to you. But a special mention go out to the following. Making the all 18 or under 18s all tournament team, new title for it. This one adjudicated by ALN and the referees and coaches, and the collective decision was made. And for the for the national under-18s all-tournament team from WA for the men. Congratulations going to Joseph Manning of East Freo for his position in defence. Charlie Clark, who was already back into the action, looking at his form across the weekend, playing for Wembley. He's got the face-off responsibilities. And in attack, Lachlan Wills, Annabelle, of the Blues there, taking out the third spot in the men's all-tournament team. While for the ladies, there was a Bayswater duo, Emma E, taking on a position in defence, whilst this lady seems to be not able to do any wrong at the moment, featuring here and across multiple streaming platforms and news channels. Veronica Keane of Bayswater, congratulations to you. Cricket season's wound up, but Veronica demonstrating her ability across both codes of sport there. I asked for club news. I asked for input on how your clubs went across there. Big thanks to Cole and Aaron down at Phoenix. Just a quick rundown there from the Phoenix players in the all under-18s tournament. Unlucky going Harry Somerville. He was a great teammate all week, but unfortunately an injury which has seen him sit out last week's broadcast, saw him sidelined for the tournament. But testament to his character, sportsmanship and hard work, he chipped away all weekend to help the guys there. Freya Pine, one of the most athletic athletes on the field and the dominant midfielder, unlucky not to make the all-tournament team there, Freya. And we also have Corey Rainey dominating down at the draw. For those new to lacrosse, the draw is the ladies' equivalent of the face-off, which is how they start the game in the centre there. And I encourage you to join us to watch a game each and every week across the winter season. All over the field, and actually got the MVP in the final game. So congratulations there, Corey. And last but not least, Cade Moyer, who we saw in action on the Community Sports Show last weekend. Agile dodger, great ball handler, and the Moyer boys just doing what the Moyer boys do, and that is getting the ball in the back of the net, sharing it around and developing the sport, which is fantastic. Okay, so just a reminder, if you've got any comments, if you've got feedback, someone you want to mention or shout out, drop them in the comments there. I'll be able to see them, and we'll bring those up for the people across the world to see. Speaking of seeing, I hope now I have to get this right, over my left-hand shoulder here, the new Phoenix Lacrosse t-shirt, sitting proudly beside Alkimos and Wembley, as well as East Fremantle there tucked up in the corner, and some Bayswater old school ones across the top here. If your club's not got a shirt on in the studio and you'd like to promote your club, by all means, when you see me out and about across the men's and ladies competitions, feel free to give us a plain shirt or a polo, something we can put up there to show that your club's part of the lacrosse community here in WA. All right, let's kick it off. We'll do it in reverse order. I tend to like for the midweek shows to give every grade a bit of a mention. So what we'll do with the bulk of the juniors is mention the scores, but not necessarily the individual scorers, because it is all about developing the competition. And those who are there will know exactly who is playing, who is not. So we'll start. Actually, before we move on, great jump in there, Lara. Wembley represented in the under-18 men's by Jacob de Villa, Fraser Gill, who will get a mention throughout the show, as will Charlie Clark. And some young up-and-coming talent there at Wembley. We'll be out there this week to see them. So look forward to heading out to Floreat. All right, so we'll kick off with the under-11s last weekend. Wembley 10, speaking of Wembley there, Lara. Wembley 10, Alkimos 2. And in the next game, Phoenix just the 1 goal, Wanneroo Joondalup 10. And in the final match, Bayswater 12, East Fremantle 9. Juniors, I was talking to a couple of people over the weekend, and there have been some changes to the junior schedules and teams and who's partnered up with who. So if you are looking to get your kids involved in the winter sport but don't want them playing football, how about trying lacrosse? Head out to one of the lacrosse clubs across Perth, from Elcomos to Phoenix. You can't get wider spread than that. And your young person could be playing lacrosse, not just for the club, but eventually, if they wanted to, the state and the country. All right, this week, all games at 8:30 for the under-11s, according to the game day side at the moment, which I take with a bit of a pinch of salt there. But Wanneroo Joondalup in the derby against Elcomos, Phoenix in a derby against East Fremantle, and in the round of the match of the central base sides, Wembley up against Bayswater to round out the under-11s competition. In the under-13s, it is Subiaco Phoenix. I mentioned that clubs have combined. Subiaco Phoenix have done this before, and they have done it across a couple of grades this season in the juniors, just to ensure the kids are getting a game. So it's great to see. In this one, going down, Subiaco Phoenix 8, Wembley 11. In the next match, Bayswater up against East Fremantle. Bayswater going to get a few mentions throughout the junior and women's scorelines here. Bayswater and East Fremantle in a goal-scoring feast, 13 goals apiece, while from Wanneroo Joondalup in their local club derby, Wanneroo Joondalup Red versus Wanneroo Joondalup Blue. Well, not sure what's happened to the Warriors laptop or computer system. Maybe the power went off up there for a while. No scores from that, and Elcomos having the bye last week. This weekend, Elcomos don't have a bye. They've got the journey down to East Fremantle. These games all at 10:30. Wanneroo Joondalup Red have the bye. East Freo versus Elcomos. Wembley v Bayswater, and the Wanneroo Joondalup Blue up against Subiaco Phoenix. Those games, as I said, at 10:30. So be sure you're on time. Get there a little early. Help set up. Do what you need to do. Now, in the junior men's under 15s, I've got some actual scores here. Wembley defeating Subiaco Phoenix 15-2. Will Tregurtha with 5 for Wembley, and Tyson Gill with 3. So well done to Will and Tyson there. While it was Oscar Shiner and Samuel Wilson Banks scoring the 2 for Subiaco Phoenix, 1 each there. Wanneroo Joondalup in the under-15s defeating Bayswater 10. Not sure what was going on with the laptop. No Wanneroo Joondalup information. So any Warriors fans online, and I can see plenty of people on here at the moment, any Warriors members on there with any scores or players or goal scorers, feel free to jump on, just as Lara did there before, and we'll let people know. But it was 4 to Will Frensham of Bayswater, so he was the standout there in that loss, hard-fought loss, I'd imagine. And in this competition, last year, East Fremantle using some top-up players from Bayswater, or the situation's reversed, and this year, no East Fremantle under-15 men's side, but Bayswater back into the competition in their own right. So that's great to see. This week in the 15s, Wembley versus Bayswater. Looking at the scorelines there, you'd imagine that this one will be close, just 5 goals between them, while Wanneroo Joondalup take on Subiaco Phoenix. Both those games at 12:45. So get down and support the young under 15s there. And if I need a drink, I'm just going to quickly top up with some Kirk Portello. All right, the last competition for the junior men, it's the under 17s. And as Lara mentioned, there's been plenty of players from across this competition involved in the under 18s tournament. This round, Wanneroo Joondalup had the bye. I don't have any information from the Subiaco side in their 8-6 win over Wembley there. But for Wembley, it was Luca Dillon and Alexander Mitchell-Lewis, both scoring 2 goals apiece there, with singles going to John Narby. And this name is familiar, Lincoln Plummer. Big shout out to Amanda and the Plummer family there. And Bayswater taking out a 10-0 defeat of East Fremantle. I'm going to presume that was a forfeit. That is the official scoreline for a forfeit here in Lacrosse WA. So an easy win there for Bayswater. Not ideal to set them up for a match this week against Wembley. Wembley strong. Bayswater, though, also quite strong in the under 17, so this one will be an interesting one. My tip on, I won't tip on juniors, no. Don't do that, no. Wembley up against Bayswater and Wanneroo Joondalup up against Subiaco Phoenix. Those under 17 men's games kicking off or facing off at 10:45. There's a $2 donation to charity, which if you catch me out on a broadcast, if I get a team wrong, not a name, I'm not going to accept names, I'd be paying a fortune. But if I call a team wrong, then if you mention it, it's a fine and a couple of dollars will go to charity. And we'll see how much I can not give by the end of the season. All right, into the ladies, just 2 competitions for the junior ladies competition this year, under 14s and under 17s, as I understand it. And those 2 comps both with rounds last week. In the 14s, first up, Wanneroo Joondalup 15, defeating East Fremantle 11. Second match there, Bayswater 17, defeating Wembley 6. And Phoenix enjoying the bye for round 1 of the under 14 ladies. This week, East Freo up against Phoenix, looking at the scoreline there. Again, Nosey, tell yourself no tipping. I'll save that for the end. If you've got a tip, feel free to drop them in, but I shouldn't. This week, East Freo up against Phoenix and Wanneroo Joondalup taking on Wembley. Bayswater enjoying the weekend off in the under 14 ladies. Just as Phoenix are doing in the under 17s. For the ladies, they've got the bye this week, or last weekend, I should say. Wanneroo Joondalup 15, defeating East Fremantle in a ripping game, this one, 14. I'll go through the East Freo scorers first. Congratulations, Bindi Buckman with a big 6, a big handful, +1. 6 to start off the season for Bindi. The Buckmans, well known across the LWA circuits. Good to see you getting some goals early, Bindi. But she was supported with 2 each from Caitlin Matafari, Sarah Murphy, and Kaylee Dawson for East Fremantle, all scoring 2 goals there. So 12 between those 4 ladies. Top effort. Wanneroo Joondalup. No information. Laptop missing. Unsure what's happening there. We know there were some issues with game day to start off. Hopefully they will be sorted next week so that we can get you some details. And if it's not working, all the team managers, what have you, just drop your first and best and your goal scorers into me through our page, and I'll be able to add those to the extensive notes I have each and every week. Alrighty, so in the under 17s this week for the lady, well, finishing off last week, no, don't get ahead of yourself. Wembley 10, defeated by Bayswater. I said Bayswater getting a few mentions. Congratulations to the Bayswater under-17 ladies there. There was 5 goals to Sophia Birighetti and 3 to Talia Edwards for Wembley, but that was not enough as Veronica Keane showed why she's in that all-tournament team. She had 4, Nikki Carson, Maddie Walters, both with 3, and Sophie McBean with 2. The under-17 ladies this week, Wembley with the bye, Wanneroo Joondalup up against Phoenix, and East Fremantle up against Bayswater. That is the juniors done and dusted here on the Community Sports Show. Lacrosse WA Midweek Show, proudly brought to you by Vision Decor and ID Athletic, proudly supporting the Community Sports Show and the wider community through sponsoring of numerous clubs. If you would like club apparel or sporting merchandise, then talk to Glenn and Josh at ID Athletic. They can help you build your identity, just like they've done for us here on the Community Sports Show, and Mike and Lisa Ash for Vision Decor. WA products made here by WA people at great prices, because they have a great range and they are great people. All right, moving on into the ladies, the senior ladies. Good to see them out and about in the Division 2 competition. There are 6 teams competing, so well done to the ladies Div 2. Fantastic effort to get 6 teams out on the paddock. I know there's a lot of love across the competition for you all. And we'll start off with East Fremantle defeating Wanneroo Joondalup. East Fremantle 12, Wanneroo Joondalup 9. Well, the Kennedys, I like to say it like that for all the old school wrestling supporters out there. Jess Kennedy kicking off her season with a big bag of 5 goals there. Michelle Curran with 3. And it seems to have been a team-wide glitch on the Wanneroo Joondalup IT tech systems there, because no information from them on this match either. Okay, second match, Wembley 16 defeating Alkimos 8. For Wembley, Gail Allen with 4. Congratulations, Gail. A big shout out to Craig as well, who's got us lined up to head down to Wembley Florida, for the Wembley launch of their new all-club jerseys. Looking forward to being down there. Gail Allen with 4, and doubles to Shendell Oliver, Shenny, and Amy Bowman, Jenny Edwards, Madison Carroll, and rounding out the handful of pairs for Wembley, it was Kate Ralston. Alkimos all 3 to Chelsea Packham. Good to see across there. Chelsea, a name from last year, as was the next 2, doubles to Kristen Smedley and Mara Crane, both with 2 in that 8-16 loss to Wembley. Subiaco Phoenix, they've done it in the juniors and they're doing it for the Div 2 ladies as well. Angela Somerville for Subiaco Phoenix, a nice even 5 if you don't mind. And 3 to Michaela Jones. That was enough to give them a total of 11. Bayswater 5. Caitlin Siglagetti with 3 for the visitors on that occasion. This week, Wembley up against Wanneroo Joondalup, East Fremantle taking on Bayswater, and Subiaco Phoenix taking on Alkimos. Now, these games are all at Wanneroo Joondalup, so Penistone Reserve for those new to lacrosse, just up there in the northern suburbs, off Warwick Road, I believe, from memory, going off old school memory here. Okay, Ladies State League, let's get into it. Let's get through it so you can get into whatever else you have on tonight. But for now, you're here with me, Noel Nosey Johnston, on the Community Sports Show, live in the TCSS studio. Be aware of anyone that tries to direct you elsewhere. We will only ever stream live to our Facebook. And if you see anyone, please report them. They're everywhere now. They're all over the 18s. They were all over the Wembley promotion last week, so please be aware. And okay, State League. This game, opening game, played on Anzac Day for the ladies, as was the men's, but we'll come to them in a moment. In a big dominant performance, Subiaco showed they're not going to be easy beats this year, and why would they be? They've been dominant for a while. Kate Hooper, a name familiar to all across lacrosse, not just here in WA, but Australia and internationally. Kate Hooper kicking off with 4, Emma Green and Erin Mitchell with 3 each to their name for Subiaco. Well, it was Charlotte Hogg and Holly Plummer. So the Plumbers having a day out there with singles for Wembley. Speaking of Charlotte, Dad has taken over the coaching roles. Bruce stepping down, and now I feel like saying David Hogg taking on the reins of the State League ladies for Wembley. So best of luck to them across the season. East Fremantle 12 defeating Bayswater 2-6. Well, we talk about names that are known. Each and every week we give the top few goal scorers of each game a bit of a mention. And this lady last year cleaned up at the LWA end of season awards, and no surprises on why. Opening up with 6, it was Madison Copeland of East Fremantle and 3 to Emma Graham. They were the dominant players there. 12 scores or 12 goals. They had 9 between them. And Emily Adcock and Veronica Keane getting a goal apiece for Bayswater in the State League. Veronica stepping up from the 17s into the State League, doing it everywhere she goes, and just showing why she too is in that All-Australian or All-Tournament, I should say, All-Tournament team from the recent under-18s. Wanneroo Joondalup, the Warriors. Well, they took on Phoenix and they beat them 14-8. Ash Hiron with 4 for Phoenix, Carolyn Blair with 2. And it must have been a whole of club system glitch because Wanneroo Joondalup, yet no information there. Unfortunately, we can't share what we don't know. So hopefully the Warriors will sort that out, and we'll have some input next week on behalf of the club there. All right, this weekend in the State League ladies up at Wanneroo Joondalup there at the Penniston Park. It is Phoenix taking on East Fremantle, Subiaco taking on Bayswater, while the home side will have to face off against Wembley. And our first ladies, there's been a few questions. Yes, we will be covering some of the ladies' competition across the season. I was just prior to the show having a look at the schedule. I know there's some work to be done and some fixtures and double checks because certain clubs are available. Speaking of which, a big commiserations to Bayswater. They're in trouble with regards to access to ground and parking. So if ever you head out to Halliday Park, please be aware you need to check your fixtures because your game might actually be up at Lower Hillcrest, which is a couple of 100 metres up the road, but it is not Halliday Park. So check your fixtures if you're heading out to Halliday. I feel like that rooster off the old Bugs Bunny show. I say. 14th of May up at Wanneroo Joondalup again. I'm expecting to be up there for the round of full day. We'll cover all 3 games on those days that we're at the ladies, and we will live stream and commentate them all. So we're trying to get the load shared and spread evenly across all competitions. If you'd like to help out, be a reporter, be a commentator, give us the stats for your grade. And I'd love to hear from you because as much as I love this, one day the battery's just going to run out, and I'd love to see this continue. There's a lot of love for it out there across the lacrosse community, and we thank you all for that support. All right, that's the ladies. Time for the men. We'll finish off with the men and we'll do it as we did the juniors and the ladies in reverse order. A few of these matches played in good spirits because a couple of sides just looking to try and bolster their numbers at the moment. We'll kick off in Division 3. East Fremantle 11, defeating Bayswater 5. Chris Warren and Luke Grootveld, both with 3. But the man himself, he continues to dominate. He is the best Redman, and that is John with 4. While Kobe Tyrell getting 2 for Bayswater as the standout. The other 3 all singles. Wanneroo Joondalup 10, defeating Phoenix 7. Guess what, viewers? Still waiting on the Wanneroo Joondalup information there. That power outage still affecting them up there. I can say from the Phoenix side, though, Joe Lofgren with 4 and Nathan Roost with 2 were the top scorers for the Phoenix side down there. Go Black. In the last match of the men's Division 3, Wembley 9 defeating Subiaco 3. That match, Joe Cahill, the only goal scorer for Subiaco with all 3 of the goals. So well done there, Joe. No info on Wembley. They must have borrowed Wanneroo Joondalup's laptop or tried to connect to their server. But a special shout out to Craig Allen and Greg Lund, who have big supporters. Harry Nutter has joined us as well as a new follower. A big shout out to you all. Glad you could be with us and looking forward to heading out to Floreat this Saturday for the broadcast. In fact, that is the head or the segue, if you like. First broadcast match this weekend, live at 1 o'clock. It will be Wembley versus Bayswater. If you'd like to jump in the broadcast van with me, if you haven't seen it already, nice and comfy, protected from the weather, best seat in the house. Well, you can get on board with me for the face-off here of the men's Div 3 because Wembley up against Bayswater. Wanneroo Joondalup taking on Subiaco and East Fremantle at home against Alkimos. Okay, Division 2. These 2 games, both a little lopsided, and the feedback I saw through the socials from both clubs was that players were shared and the spirit was shared. In the end, a game of lacrosse was played, or in fact, 2 games of lacrosse were played. First one, East Fremantle versus Bayswater. East Fremantle running out victors there, the Blues up there. If you've got a blue jumper, East Freo, that'd be lovely because I've got lots of grey. It seems to be a lacrosse colour, except for the pirates there. I could be a pirate now. In case you can't tell, I might as well own it. Lost a tooth and can't afford to get it replaced. And just going with the pirate look here. So looking at the scorelines here, 21-4, Matt Devoy and Lockie Wills, each with 6 for the Blues. Mitch Ellis with 4 as well, while McBean, Stone, Sim and Doherty all with 1 each there for Bayswater. So good to see, still fighting it out there, guys. In the second match, men's Division 2, Wanneroo Joondalup taking on Wembley. It was the Warriors running out with this one. 27-5. Well, Fraser Gill, we've heard the Gill name mentioned throughout the broadcast already. Fraser, a young and up-and-coming man with 3. He was a standout for Wembley. Hopefully we'll be able to get an interview with some of these younger players as we go around the grounds this year. Guess what? The Wanneroo Joondalup outage continues. So no details there on the 27 goals scored. Any Warriors online, let us know, because next week we'll be talking about this week. So now's your time. If you've got any comments, shout outs, club events, news, hatches, dispatches, and I say that fully mindful of some people's sensitivities. It is up to you to let us know in the comments, just like Lara did before with regards to Jacob Fraser and Charlie Clark there for their representation in the under-18s WA tournament just recently. This week, Wembley taking on Bayswater. Well, with just one goal difference between them, you'd expect this one to be a close one. And with the skills from both sides, I'm aware Alex McBean has got potential, Sim as well. These players able to step up. And if they can, that one should be a very close game. Because we're into the seniors now, I'll put my name on the line. I will call that one for, well, I'll call it for Wembley because they're at home. So big day down there at Floreat. All teams at home this weekend for the Wolves. And so my tip in that one, I'm going to go Wembley by 2. Last match, that'll mean the last match in the men's Division 2 is East Fremantle up against Wanneroo Joondalup. That one down there at Point, Preston Point Reserve. I had to stop and think there. It's been a while since I've been down there. News from down there I saw on the socials this week, getting the tick of approval for the lighting system. So looking forward to broadcasting a few night games. If your club can facilitate that with your state league, I'd love to hear from you because nights are great. And it also takes out looking into the sun, which will be a challenge this year with the new broadcast van and positions across the ground. So hopefully we can get to a few night games there. All right, that is the men's Division 2. My tip in that last match, East Freo, Wanneroo Joondalup, well, both scoring 20 plus last week. It should be a goal fest, I'll say that. Definitely should be a goal fest. Being at East Freo, they went down by 6 based on last week's scores. I'll back them in. We'll see how we go with the East Fremantle Sharks. Jumper over my shoulder there. I'll go East Fremantle in the men's Division 2. All right, last group for the night. Men's State League. Well, we heard Subiaco had a strong performance over Wembley on Anzac Day in the ladies. It was a reversal of form, though, for the men. Wembley defeating Subiaco 13-3. Matt Wood 4, Braden Panting with Jack Cooper both scoring 2 there. And I suspect that Subiaco tried to piggyback onto Wanneroo Joondalup's server there because no information from Subi in the men's state league match against Wembley. East Fremantle 18 defeating Bayswater 2. Tough day for the Bayswater guys down at Halliday Park. Not sure if there was distractions or what, but tough start. Adam Geordie St. Jaw in charge of the Bayswater side once again. I know he's a passionate man, and I'm hoping to get him in the studio after state trials have concluded in the coming weeks. It was 18-2, Charlie Warren, Dan Bowater and Ryan Hockey all scoring 3. So good to see a few of those guys back into it. Ryan Hockey returning from overseas, slotting into the men's state league straight up for East Fremantle. But it was 6 goals to Mitch Kennedy. And if you don't mind, it seems to be a Kennedy off down there in Blues Town at the moment. We saw Jess with 5, Mitch with 6 and 2 assists. So both Kennedys opening the accounts early. Adam Sopp, their lone goal scorer for Bayswater. Reliable old man, I shouldn't call him old, a reliable player for Bayswater, just needs a little bit of help and a few players to step up. They've got the youth coming through, so let's hope we can see a bit of that coming into play over the coming weeks. In the broadcast match, it was me down there at Phoenix, Good Child Reserve, for the final match of round one for the Lacrosse WA Men's State League. 4-0 at quarter time in favour of the home side. Everyone was surprised. 4-0 over Wembley. Over one. See, there's another $2, but no one caught me. So 12-8, as I said, Phoenix 4-0 up over Wanneroo Joondalup at quarter time. Everyone's up and about. The crowd's going behind it. Second quarter, though, 4-0 in favour of Wanneroo. Joondalup saw the scores tied 5-2 at quarter time, and that definitely made it interesting going into the second half, where it was Wanneroo Joondalup outperforming Phoenix 8-4 across the final two periods there. No Wanneroo Joondalup information on the Go Play or Play HQ, whatever it's called today. However, because I have checked my results and the stats there, I can tell you that Jordan Gillespie with 4, Josh Polkinghorn with 3 for the Warriors, Jaden Rodriguez, Lockie Walker, both with 2, and a big thank you to the Rodriguez family and friends that were the scorer mentioners, is how I'll describe them. Referees just telling the bench, which is fine. But for the broadcast, they were helping out, and I appreciate that. So thank you, Tanya and friends. Well, for Phoenix, we mentioned the Moyers. We mentioned Kate earlier in the under-18s all-tournament team, but it was Ethan with 5, Cade Moyer with Zeth Zaleski and Javier Williams all with 1 each to give them their 8. So a good start by Phoenix, good crowd down there at Good Child Reserve. Got to mention a few internationals, though. Luke McCrone from Manchester taking the field, as well as Jacob Layton of Portland and Josh Vedder filling in a position down there in the black side. His dad, Dave, over there in Maryland in the US, already putting in special requests about the ladies as well. And as I mentioned, we will be doing as regular as we can women's fixtures. There's an extended period where there's no actual matches showing, so that'll be an interesting one. We'll scope that out over the course of May because June looks barren. Good to see Eve of WA Lax picks back out, just enjoying some camaraderie after the tough news last year and tough circumstances last year. Great to see you out there, Eve. I hope you get the confidence to be out and about more often. A couple more shout outs from this game. We had Britton Curidan making his debut and 3 16-year-olds in for Wanneroo Joondalup. First time up in the goals, it was James Gray. He was joined by Jake Matheson and Daniel Rodriguez. As 16-year-olds making their debut in the State League up there. Kim Gillespie, the coach of Wanneroo Joondalup now. So some changes ringing. The ladder, after one round, and it is just one round, East Fremantle on top, Wembley second, Wanneroo Joondalup sitting in third place, all those 3 sides, each with the win. And based on percentage, East Fremantle on top. Rounding out the bottom half, Phoenix, Subiaco and Bayswater rounding out the 6 for the Men's State League. Matches this week, Wanneroo Joondalup up against Subiaco. East Fremantle up against Phoenix in the, we'll call it the Southern Derby there. If you're at that game, hang around afterwards. They've got a carbonara night on down at the club with adult refreshments and junior refreshments. And the broadcast match this week, round 2 for Lacrosse WA, I will be down there, and I've got a special guest commentator Can't wait to catch up with him. I've met him once before. He is Wembley royalty, and I'll be joined in the box for the broadcast match. More than welcome there, Justin. And it's great to see, speaking of Justin there, Travis Wolf in goals for Phoenix, having a great game with the big net there. Looking forward to seeing, as I said, all the youth coming through, lots of that coming on board across the various clubs. Okay, so that's it for now. Live Saturday at 1 o'clock for the Division 3 men's game. Join me, and if you'd like to join me, not just online, but in the broadcast box for that match, I'd love to hear from you. Just let me know beforehand, and you can be on the mic with me taking local sports to a global audience. Thanks to our broadcast sponsors, ID Athletic and Vision Decor. Proudly WA, both proudly WA, supporting local community clubs and the community sports show. Please support those who support us. And until Saturday at 1 o'clock, when you see me in the broadcast van, it's meant to be wet, so bring your umbrellas and bring your raincoats. I won't need it. So come join me in the van and we'll see you then. Till then, take care, stay safe wherever you are. Be nice to yourself. But remember, it's just as important to be nice to those around you. Thanks for joining me. Noel Nosey Johnston signing off. I'll see you again soon. Take care.